We'll expand a little bit on that right now with Dallas and Deborah Stout. They are co-chairs of the Violence Prevention Coalition of Orange County. Welcome to both of you. Welcome back to both of you.
Thanks.
Yes.
On a completely different subject this time around. Dallas, what is the Violence Prevention Coalition of Orange County?
Well, the VPCOC is the only countywide coalition of agencies, individuals, educators, politicians, police, that's involved in promoting violence prevention through a public health approach. And we do that in a true grassroots fashion.
And Deborah, how long has it been around?
It's been around since 1996, so 12 years it's been around.
How did it get started?
Basically, it started with a group of individuals that were passionate about violence prevention and doing work in this field. And we kept on meeting each other in different organizations, and we decided, you know what, we need to meet together. And Dallas was actually there at the beginning meeting to start this 12 years ago.
Part of the reason why we started was to have a place to start this conversation, because at the time the environment was such that a lot of people just didn't feel that there was a violence issue in our county. And those of us that were working in the trenches kept bumping up against that, and then someone would say, but that doesn't happen here, and we'd move on, and we were all there kind of scratching our heads. So we wanted a place to have a kind of a platform or a forum to discuss these issues that unfortunately are a part of our county.
Well, let's talk about that. You know, what are the violence issues here in Orange County? How is this being manifested?
Well, we see it in all different areas. We're looking at current surveys we've been completed. Currently, we did a survey of over 200 key individuals. They're saying that the key areas of interest are gangs. We're seeing a gang increase. We're seeing substance abuse and violence is a huge problem, along with domestic violence and child abuse. And right now, if you look at the child abuse reports last year, over 30,000 child abuse reports were filed here in Orange County. So there is violence going on in our county, in our homes, everywhere we're going.
And you take a very broad view of violence. There are a lot of things, obviously, and both of you have been here on other occasions talking about other issues that are related to this. It's an interesting approach.
So we've been told in the past, oh, you're about gun control. We don't want you here. And really, we define violence, as you said, very broadly. So we talk about not only across the lifespan, we're not just talking about kids. We talk about elder abuse, suicide, homicide, guns, really anything that's remotely related to violence, we've probably talked about in one of our meetings.
When you talk about taking a public health approach, what does that mean?
It's really a grassroots effort of organizing and approaching it as the same way you would approach flu prevention or anything else. You know, it's not just an issue that's out there somewhere else. It's an issue right here on our streets, and we need to get involved and tackle it in that way.
Deborah, what are sort of the trends that we're seeing right now here in Orange County? You mentioned child abuse. Is that something that's growing more with the economy getting?
Well, we're seeing a bigger increase in the population 0 to 3. Like a third of the child abuse reports are the 0 to 3 population. So we're seeing that trend. We also are seeing basically a lot of, with the funding sources a need for collaboration. With the research of those 200 individuals, a majority of them, 80% said we need to collaborate, we need to work on this together, and we need something like the VPCOC or something like it to talk about the VPCOC efforts. So we're seeing that need going on in our county.
And probably one of the most alarming trends would be, as Debbie mentioned, the gang issue. There has been for several years, that's kind of been on the downswing, and as is typical, the money goes elsewhere and the programs go away, and now that the programs are gone, we're seeing this increase in tagging and vandalism and gang activity on the streets. Also, demographically, as people are moving around the Southern California area, that creates problems. So, you know, a mom who means well in Norwalk moves her family and Johnny here maybe to Fullerton, and now he's in a different hood with a different group of kids, and that creates some problems.
So how do you tackle that? I mean, we've talked about the problem here. What is specifically are you doing to try to deal with those kind of issues?
Well, we have a few approaches. Debbie mentioned that we have our fact sheets and information available to educate the public. We do a lot of work in advocacy, writing letters at the city, county, state, and federal level to influence legislation, because that's where real change happens in addition to the people. And in terms of in the street, really, we meet 4 times a year. 3 times a year, we have a quarterly meeting where we have anywhere 100 to 200 people show up and learn about whatever the issue it is that we're presenting. And the 4th time of year, when we meet, we have the Ambassador of Peace Awards ceremony where we recognize folks that are doing great work.
Where can people go to get more information, and what kind of resources do you have there?
You can go to our website at www.vpcoc.org. That's vpcoc.org. And they can download any of the fact sheets, any of the resource cards. They could find out information about the meetings, all of that available on the internet for free for them.
And they can contact us as well there.
And what kind of involvement are you looking for?
Well, really, some people come religiously 4 times a year to the meetings, and others want to get involved in the executive committee and get more involved, writing letters and working on special projects that we have.
Very good.